Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So the 15th chapter, we saw this material world as the inverted banyan tree, right? The Mula Madasha. And then we need to cut that tree with the axe of detachment, that is by knowledge, right? So today we'll see more about transmigration of the living entity. That is, we have started it. That is, we till 10 sloka we have done. So 11th sloka is also about transmigrating about the living entities, and 12 to 15 is about appreciating Krishna's position as the maintainer. And the last few slokas about summary of the Vedanta Sutra. Okay, so in Purushottam Yoga, we have detachment from material world first, then transmigrating of the living entity, then appreciating Krishna's position as the maintainer, and summary of the Vedanta Sutras. Okay, so last class we discussed that the material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world, right? The banyan tree upside down in water. And process of cutting it is with acts of detachment, right? Sharpened with determination, like the sparrow. The process of surrender through the spiritual master. We saw the 6 aspects of surrender, Anukulesya, Sankalpam, Pratikulesya, Varchakam, Prakshishyate, Vishwasa, all that, and qualities of the spiritual world. Little bit we saw, right? No electricity, no, what is it? Shashango na pavaka. So, nadat pashe de surya na shashango na pavaka. There's no sun, electricity, moon, anything in the spiritual world. And once you go there, no more coming down. Okay. So once you go there, there's no coming down. So how did we actually come down then? We were all in the spiritual world, right? How did we actually come down? Yes.
We were envious of
We want to enjoy
We also
independently.
wanted to enjoy.
We wanted to enjoy.
Okay,
instead
we'll
of-
take raised hands. Yes, Lakshmi Mataji, what was the reason?
So, Mataji, the reason we came down because we misused our karmic cycle and we were envious, so that is why we had to come down.
So we were envious of Krishna, okay. We were envious of Krishna, and also it says, okay, we had a desire to enjoy without Krishna, like Krishna might be. We wanted to lord it over material nature, yes. Okay, so we misused our free will. Yeah, that's what everyone says, right? So once we have come down, we have done that mistake. Now, what is the proof? We might do the same mistake again, no? We're going back to Godhead. Now, after going back again, we could have done the same mistake, no? Yes, Lavanya Mataji. We can do the same mistake, right? And again come back.
No, Mataji, because
Why?
Once we go back to Godhead, whenever once I attended Bhagavatam class, there Mataji is telling like if we are in kitchen and we doing some preparation and we hurt ourselves, next time we will be careful. So when we get a thought like again when we will get a thought, Krishna makes arrangement that we will remember all those things what we are suffered in the material world.
Yes, very nice. So that means once we have learned the lesson, right? So next time we try to misuse our free will, it seems that Matta Smridar Jnanam Abohanamcha, right? Krishna is the one who gives us remembrance forgetful. So he'll make us remember what all suffering we have undergone in this material world. And as Mata said, like once you get burned with oil, burning oil or water in the kitchen, next time you'll be more careful because you already had a bad experience. So you don't want to get hurt again. So similarly, you already have a bad experience in the material world that once you go back, Krishna will make you remind all these sufferings and you won't commit the same mistake again. So that's why it is said that once you go there, there's no coming back. So we saw all these, right? We were part and parcel of Krishna. We saw till 10th sloka. Now we have to do the 11th one. Process of transmigration. Yatanto yoginaschainam pashyanti atmani avasthitam yatanto api akritatmano nainam pashyante chetasaha. The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in the self-realization can see all this clearly, but those whose minds are not developed They will not situated in self-realization, cannot see what is taking place, though they may try to. So somebody who self-realized can see the transmigration happening, right? So Prabhupada says, once placed in some particular type of body. Okay, what is the analogy given? What is the analogy of the soul taking up different bodies given as last few slokas?
As the eight
Water,
aroma,
water
as the
near
eight carries a
Mataji.
different aroma.
Air
No, no,
carries the aroma.
Supriti Mataji.
Air
Yeah, right.
carries the aroma.
Supriti Mataji, what is it?
As the air carries a different aroma, the soul takes
Yes.
up different bodies according to the desired what. And
Yes.
what it is.
So the air actually doesn't have any aroma, but it carries the aroma as it goes through different places. Similarly, the soul takes up different body and leaves the different body. Changing the clothes, that's all in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. But here, Prabhupada mentions the analogy of air carrying aroma. Okay. So that's the analogy that is given. So here it is said, once placed in some particular type of body, he comes under the control of nature because the body, being matter, acts according to the law of nature. At that time, the living entity has no power to change that law. Suppose an entity is put into the body of a dog. As soon as he's put into the body of dog, he must act like a dog. Cannot act otherwise. And if the living entity is put into the body of a hog, then he's supposed to eat stool and act like a hog. So why is Bhagavatam comparing materialistic people as a dog? Now, most of the time, we can have raised hands. Bhagavatam compares human beings to 4 animals. One of the animal is a dog. Why? Yes, Sunita Mataji. I want raised hands, please.
Hare Krishna Mataji, because the dog stays sincere to its master, Mataji. It's like that we are staying sincere to the Maya. We are surrendering to the Maya, Mataji.
Okay. Neeraja Mataji. Bhagavatam explains something else.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, like the human beings are similar to animals because of the 4 that eating, sleeping, and defending and mating, because of the 4 qualities which are common.
That is for all animals. Why specifically dog, Lakshmi Mataji? I want what Bhagavatam explains about a dog.
Hare Krishna Mataji, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that dogs are much more loyal to everyone, but but we are, so that how the more we are loyal towards our Krishna, so that is how we should remain loyal.
No. What is the answer? Eating, mating, sleeping, defending, it's for all animals, not only dog. All animals are doing. Yes, Supriti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, they are like the moment they are fallen down, they are taking birth again in the animal kingdom, and it takes a lot of evolutionary process to come back to the human life, and they wasted their human life.
Why a dog? Again, I'm asking the same question. Nobody is listening to the Bhagavad class. I remember Namnisha Prabhu explaining the materialistic people as 4 animals: dog, hogs or pig, ass, and camel. And Bhagavatam explains, I think 2nd canto, that why we are like a dog, materialistic people.
Is it because we have forgotten God or something?
Forgotten God, all animals have forgotten God. I mean, especially dog. Why? Because what does a dog do to find out for food? Goes from one house to another house to another house, search of food, right? What does we do after we complete our degrees? With our CV and our biodata and everything, those who have done. Go from one company to another company, from one institution to another institution for search of job. And like no vacancy, board is there. So we, like a dog is hunting out for food. Similarly, somebody who is just finished graduation and is completely into karmi life, not bothered about devotional life, he just want to find his bread and butter, right? He just goes from one company to another company for search of a job in case of the money, like how a dog goes. Why a pig? It's given already here. Because a pig, he eats anything and everything filthy. It doesn't discriminate. Like a human who is not into devotional service is also like that. Anything and everything. Anything, right? Even they eat even dog's meat, chandalas, it said. Some part of the world, still they eat dog's meat. So, Prabhupada's like, they are called hog. They are also like a pig. Why? Because they are not discriminating what is good, what is not. Once Indra became a hog, And he was so happy eating stool that Narad Muni went to call him back. He's like, I'm not coming. I'm happy here eating stool and mud with my family. Okay, so that's why Bhagavatam compares materialistic people into dog and hogs. Why an ass? Why Bhagavatam compares materialistic people to an ass? Yes, Mataji?
Because it is a hardworking and
Okay.
it doesn't think about what is its future. It just follows its master just for the sake of food. And
Okay, Chitra Mataji, yes,
Hare
anything to
Krishna,
add?
Mataji. It takes a lot of burden all the time working for sense gratification.
Yes. And how does the washerman feeds that ass? Deval Mataji, you know?
I was saying something other point, like after working hard, it goes back and gets kicked by the opposite gender, the same
Yeah.
way a man.
Yeah, right. Yes, when go for sense gratification, the opposite sex kick the ass, right? And what about yeah, so the ass carries a lot of burden, in a sense, a lot of weight for just few grass, and the grass is there everywhere. Yeah, Shraddha Mataji, yes. He works so hard day and night just for few grass, and it's available all over. And how does he make it walk? It has a stick. The washerman has a stick in which the grass will be hanging in front of the ass, and the ass will be moving in front, and the grass moves, and he thinks, oh, I'll get it now, I'll get it now. But then just keep going, that not thinking that as the grass is there everywhere. Like, so those who work more than 12 hours, more than like continuous 24 hours, I think I shared this once before coming to Krishna consciousness. I just started Krishna consciousness. I used to chant only on Sundays. Sunday, because my Shiksha Guru says, makes me chant one round. I go to the temple just for that, for prasadam, and then he forced me to chant. So I sit and chant. Then Monday to Saturday, my jabba bag is sleeping in my room. And again, Sunday, I takes it and I chant. So I was getting bored. And I'm like, why don't I work? And then Sunday, there was no doctors available in my hospital for doing extra work. And Sunday, it's going to be a free day. We don't have, except emergencies. There's no OPD, nothing. So we are a kind of free, but you get paid double. And I was like, wow, I'm getting paid double. Let me go on Sundays. What is there? I can just do something and I leisurely relax. There's no much work. All the sisters, staff, everyone sit and gossip. And it's nice on Sunday in the hospital. Nothing is there happening except there's some emergency. So I started working overtime in the sense 24 hours. And I sleep there and I'm happy, getting paid double and all that. And then after a few months, my Shiksha Guru is like, where are you? Every Sunday is just the temple, and then there's some program here happening, and you're not there, you're not even coming. Then I heard Prabhupada's lecture. Prabhupada says, if you work like an ass, and this human form of life is not for that, but if you work like an ass, next life, you're going to be a cockroach in that same office. And do you want to be a cockroach in the same office? He's so addicted to that job, and money sweeter than honey, that I'm going to waste this human form of life. Immediately I got up, I'm like, I'm not working Sundays, I'm going to the temple. So that's how my Krishna consciousness started. And that's how Prabhupada started guiding me every time. So it's true. But then what happens initially, for that is that grass, what do you mean, that money, extra money, we feel that, oh, bhakti is all secondary, this is more important. Then we are like an ass, we work so hard, just for few grass. In the sense, Prabhupada's like, what are we going to eat? 4 chapatis? And for that, you work so hard. You know, some of them, they travel 1-2 hours to go to the workplace. Again, come back 2 hours traveling from the workplace. No? Human form of life is not for that. And what about a camel? Why materialistic people is compared to a camel? Yes, Keshav Prabhu.
Chewing the chewed. They chew the thorns of the thinking of the grass. Their bloods come out, wishing out the bloods, and they taste the blood, so they think that they are relishing the food.
Very good. So the camels, they eat thorns and their tongue gets cut, and they drink their own blood, thinking the thorn is so sweeter. And yes, chewing the chewed in the sense, puna charvida charvanana, again and again, yeah, right? This materialistic life is like that, again and again, the same thing. So that's why Bhagavatam compares us to a dog, to a hog, to an ass, and a camel. We should not be like that. So we should be the other opposite party. Like we should be a swan, or we should be like a honeybee. What does the swan does? Any particularity for the swan? Any important features for a swan?
It can separate water and milk.
Good.
It's given.
So and also one more thing. Yes, Dinesh Prabhu, what else? Separate milk and water. There's one more good quality in a swan.
I know one only, Mataji. That
Okay,
milk
Neeraj
and water.
Mataji.
Mataji, it lives in the very clear and fresh water. It doesn't go
It lives in a crystal clear water. It doesn't go to a filthy place at all, unlike like a hog. So swan is like that. So it means it's there only in a neat place. It's not in a dirty place. Honeybee goes to the honey, the good, nice fragrant flowers, unlike the houseflies who go to the stringent areas, right? And so, yeah, so that's what it says. So here it is said, if we are put into a hog body or a dog body, we have to behave like that, right? We are supposed to behave like that. So it's very rare opportunity to get a human form. And even after getting a human form, we behave like dog and hogs. Then material nature will give us that body next life. Yat aditya gatam tejo jagat pashede akilam yat chandramsi yat chagno tat tejo vidimamatam. The splendor of the sun which dissipates the darkness of this whole world comes from me. And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire are also from me. So it is appreciating Krishna as our maintainer. It is said that everything, the sun, the darkness of the world, I mean the moon, everything is coming from Krishna. Right? Krishna says, Nakshatrana Maham Shashi, that among the stars is the sun, moon. Also he says, Rasoham Apsukaundeya, Prabhasmi Shashi Surya. So he is the light of the sun and the moon, right? So Krishna is a maintainer at the cosmic level also. He's the source of the sun and the moon and the fire. It also says that the sun appears or shines because they are scared of Krishna and they appears in the sense. The sun god is also a kind of a servant to Krishna. Ekala Ishara Krishna Arasa Pritya. And what about digestion? He is also the fire of digestion. So Prabhupada says, just imagine, we are so dependent on Krishna, that even for digestion, we need Krishna's energy, help. Right? That's what 14th sloka Krishna says, right? What he is. Aham Vaishnaviro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashita Prana Panna Samayuktam Pachaminyam Chadurvitam. Right? 4 types of food items. Krishna is the fire of digestion. And he is also the air of life, outgoing, incoming. To digest the 4 kind of foodstuffs, we need Krishna. Gama Vishya Bhudani Dharyami Ahamochasa Pushnami Chaushadi Sarva Soma Bhutva Rasakuda. I enter into each planet and by my energy they stay in the orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So all the vegetables are getting the juice from the Lord, and for digestion also Krishna helps us. Only Krishna is independent, that's Swarat. We are all dependent on the Lord. Right? And what are the 4 kind of footsteps? You can have raised hands. 4 kinds of footsteps. Sudha Mataji.
Some are drunk, some are chewed, some are licked, and some are sucked.
Yes. So these are the 4 kind of footsteps. Pachaminnam Chadurvita. Okay. So that's what Krishna is. So these are all, it's also in the Ayurveda also we know, right? There is the digestive fire, Kapha, Vayu, and Pitta. If you say, there is also in that, there is a digestive fire which helps us to do the digestion. If there is increasing or decreasing of these acids and gases, then what happens? There is indigestion. Overdigestion or underdigestion happens because of that. And here Krishna is the one who, so even for that, we depends on Krishna. Okay, so towards the end of the purport in the 14th sloka, you can see the 4 kind of footsteps. Some are drunk, chewed, licked, and sucked. And he is a digestive force for all of them. One day Krishna goes for strike, what happens? All problem starts, right? So we should know that we are dependent on the Lord totally. So if we have prasadam, that is Krishna's mercy, then there is no problem. When we start having something outside food, then that's what the problem happens. So those who have digestive problem, that's because of our foolishness, because we eat anything and everything, right? Without discriminating. If you have sattvic food having Krishna prasadam, your tummy will never get upset actually. If you are making sattvic, not sometimes because based on, people forget that they are cooking for Krishna. Instead, they cook for their own sense gratification, that they add more spices and everything in Rajaguna. It's not in Sattva-guna. But if you actually have a sattvic food, sattvic prasadam, then there is no upset. Okay. Yeah, some are sucked, drunk, chewed, licked up. What was the question? Swallowed or drunk? Almost same, no? Both are same. So that is drunk, chewed, licked, and sucked. Okay, so in the 15th chapter, 15th sloka, very important sloka, it can be memorized also. It says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishtam mata smridhyānam apohanam cha Vedaisya sarve ahameva vedyo Veda Veda videvacha. Krishna is seated in everyone's heart, and from him comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, Krishna is to be known. Indeed, he is a compeller of the Vedanta and he is the knower of the Vedas. Right, so Krishna is in our heart as Paramatma. We have already discussed Shri Vishnu, 8 inch long, then between the thumb and the ring finger. So it is said as Paramatma, he initiates all activities. The required knowledge is supplied by Krishna, remembrance also given by him, and forgetfulness also given by it. It forgets about what? His past life, right? All the past life. We forget because of the Lord's giving us the forgetfulness. It's good actually one way. Forgetful nature is also good, right? So as already explained, the Lord in his incarnation as Vyasadeva complete the Vedanta Sutra and compiled. And here the Lord is giving the summary, the content of the Vedanta Sutra, which is actually the Bhagavatam, is also the content of the Vedanta Sutra. Okay. I think that's the breakout room there. Yeah. Go for a quick breakout room. So make a list of significant philosophical points relevant for preaching Krishna consciousness. Okay, from 15.7 and 15.15 verses. A presentation in the sense you can just do some drawing if you can, or you can do as some group have done a small PowerPoint, a presentation will also do. However you're comfortable. Okay. And so it's mainly from 15.7 and 15. Let's go through that. Some philosophical points, mainly. This is actually a preaching application, not personal, preaching application. Okay. And after that, we'll post the attendance link.
The question once again, please.
I put in the chat.
Thank you.
Make a list of significant philosophical points relevant for preaching Krishna consciousness. 15.7 and 15. Alka Mataji, Rashmi Mataji, Manusha Mataji, join the breakout room. Okay, so all are back. Mataji, this you can post the attendance link. So all the batches are here together so that we can finish Bhakti Shastri soon. And once Bhagavad Gita is over, we can split, okay, into different batches. So till then, we'll finish 18 chapters so that we get twice a week class. Okay, so the 16 to 18 slokas are the 3 sloki Gita. It's the essence of Vedas described. Okay. So we know the Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita is from 10.8 to 11. Right? That's about the Chatusloki Bhagavad Gita. Then about the Gita Rahasya is 1865. That is Sarvadharma Parityaj. The Amanmana Bhavapat. And Charan Sloki is Sarvadharma Parityaj. 3 sloki is the 15th chapter, verse 16 to 18. Okay, in the 15th chapter. So 15th chapter, verse 16 to 18 is basically about the 3 sloki, which says, Yau imau purusha loge kshara akshara evacha kshara sarvani bhutani kutasto akshara uchyate. There are 2 classes of beings, the fallible and infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and the spiritual world, every living entity is infallible. Okay, so infallible. What is Krishna's another name? Because he's infallible. You can have raised hands.
Achyuta, ma'am.
Yes, Supriti Mataji.
Achyuta, Mataji, Achyuta.
Why is called Achyuta? Is any other reason?
Yes, Mataji, like though whatever external situation is there, his original nature is not lost. He was a chariot driver for Arjuna, but still he retained his original nature of being supreme.
Okay, so that is one reason. Yes, Prafula Mataji, what is another reason why Krishna is called Achyuta?
Hare Krishna Mataji, he never forgets his devotees in whatever
Yes.
condition they may be, for that is Achyuta.
He doesn't fail to reciprocate to his devotees. Okay, so there are 3 reasons why Krishna is called Achyuta. One is he doesn't, even though he became the chariot driver, he doesn't fall from the position of being the supreme personality of Godhead. Second is he doesn't fail to, or fall to reciprocate with the devotees. And third is he doesn't fall like us into this material world. So that's why he's infallible. Okay, Achyuta, and we are Achyuta, he's Achyuta, he doesn't fall into this material world. Yes, Dinesh Prabhu?
Mataji, he is transcendental and his body is transcendental. He doesn't go undergo changes like we do go.
Yes.
That
Yes.
is also reason for being infallible.
Yes, that is one reason. Yes, Lakshmi Mataji.
Mataji, he's also the controller of master of all senses. He's not under he's beyond the control of the 3 modes of material nature. That is the Rajagun, Tamogun, and Satagun. So he's unaffected.
Okay. And as Hemu Mataji said, yes, he doesn't fall from his promise, but he actually broke his promise just to save Arjuna, right? That he'll never take weapon. So we know that to please Bhishma, that he had to break that promise. Okay, so Krishna, having stated that he's a knower of the Vedas in the 3 verses, we'll give the Vedanta summary of the Veda. The 3 verses 16 to 18 are also referred to as 3 Sloki Gita, since it gives a complete relationship between Jiva and Krishna. In text 19, Krishna explains the Avideya Jnana, the process of attaining him, and text 20 explains the Prayojana, the goal of this attainment. Okay, so these 3 Sloki also 16 and 17. Okay, and 18 also is about the Sambandha, and 19 is the Avideya, and 20 is the Prayojana. So in the 16 it says the fallible and infallible, and Krishna is infallible. It says the imperishable Lord has entered in the 3 world and he is maintaining us, right? Because Krishna is transcendental, beyond both fallible and infallible, because he's the greatest. He's celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as a supreme person. And whoever knows Krishna as the supreme personality of Godhead is the knower of everything. That's what 19th sloka says. Okay. Yo mam evam asamuno janati purushottamam sasarva vidvachanti mam sarva bhavina bharata. Whoever knows me as a Supreme Personality Godhead without doubting is the knowledge and is the knower of everything, and he therefore engaged himself in full devotional service to me without doubting. So that word is very important. We should know Krishna as a Supreme Personal God without that. If we doubt the Shastras, then we fall down. So one should submissively hear Bhagavad Gita from Bhagavad Gita that these living entities are always subordinate to the Supreme Personality God. Anyone who is able to understand this according to Krishna knows the purpose of the Veda. The purpose of Veda is to understand Krishna, right? Veda is Sarve Ahameva Vedya, Krishna says. So all the Vedas are compiled by Vyasadeva, who is Krishna Dvaipayana Vyas. Okay, and he himself says the purpose of knowing the Vedas is to know Krishna. And how should we know Krishna? Submissively hear this. So because we should engage ourselves in full devotional service after hearing. Bhajanti ma sarva bhavina bhav. Just hearing about Krishna is not enough. We should just hearing about Krishna is not enough. We should engage in devotional service. I can't be posting the attendance link again and again. Please contact the co-host, okay? You can message them. So Purushottam Yoga say in this chapter, the last sloka says, Idi guhyatamam shastram idi uttamayanata ena kurva buddhimansya kritat krityasya bharata. This is the most confidential part of Vedic scriptures, the sinless one, and is disclosed now by me. Who understand this will become wise, and his endeavor will know perfection. So there are three things, right, in Bhagavad Gita: guhyam, guhyatamam, guhyataram. Knowledge, secret, confidential, more confidential, most confidential knowledge. What are the three? What is confidential knowledge of guhyam? And what is more confidential? What is the most confidential? Yes, Supriti Mataji, which is guhyam, first level.
Him is the relationship, the knowledge about matter and spirit, Mataji. Matter and
Yeah, that means we are not this body. Okay, that's the first guhyam. The confidential knowledge is we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And guhyatamam, the more confidential, Lakshmi Mataji.
Mataji, the Bhakti Yoga, which is the most confidential knowledge that is placed in the middle of the chapter.
That is third, actually, most confidential. More confidential is something else. Yeah, I'm putting in the chat. Yes, Deval Mataji.
Our relationship with the Supreme.
That means Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead and we are part and parcel of the Lord. Yes, that is more confidential. And the last is, as Mataji said, that we need to do devotional service to Krishna to re-establish that last relationship. So guhyam, guhyatamam, guhyataram. That is more confidential, and the most confidential knowledge. So three levels of understanding Bhagavad Gita. Okay, that's the three levels. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan is actually the three levels of God realization. This is a secret revealed in Bhagavad Gita. Guhyam, guhyatamam, guhyataram means confidential, more confidential, and most confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So in this chapter, the first 5 verses describe the process of freeing oneself from this weakness of heart, and the rest of the chapter from the 6th verse throughout the end discuss the Purushottama Yoga. Okay. So we knew about the banyan tree analogy and also about Purushottama Yoga. Prabhupada says, as long as the living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditioned life. But as soon as we reach the spiritual sky, by cutting through the false perverted tree of the material world, we become liberated. Then there is no chance of us coming back here. In his conditional life, the living entity considers himself to be the lord of this material world. But in his liberated state, he enters into the spiritual kingdom and becomes an associate of the spiritual kingdom. There he enjoys eternal bliss, eternal life, and full of knowledge. Okay, so this is how the Purushottama Yoga ends, by saying that we have to perform devotional service in association of devotees to get that goal. So that is Guhyatama. Guhyatama, Guhyataram. Okay, so the Guhyam part comes in chapter 2. Guhyatamam is here, and Guhyatama Taram, that is the last one, comes in the 18th chapter. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. I think we can take the breakout room questions now. Mansi Mantaji, can you post that minutes link once more? She's here. Somebody wants to. Okay, so it's a big breakout room. I mean, 6 breakout rooms. So we can just quickly go through the philosophical points, right? The preaching application from 15.7 and 15.15. Okay, so we'll start from room number 6. Ganeshan Prabhu, Kadamri Mataji, Rajshri Mataji, Neeraja Mataji, and Pam Pam. Who's speaking?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hi, yes, Ganeshan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So, and we jotted out a few points, Mataji, and the philosophical points relevant for preaching is that we are the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord, and due to the conditioned life, we are struggling because of the misuse of the minute independence. And the living entity in the material world carries different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries the aroma air carries the aroma from different that is one place to another. And consciousness is pure as water according to and it gets according to the color mixed, and it becomes according to the color. The color of the water changes accordingly. And similarly, according to the consciousness is also very pure, but according to the material qualities, the consciousness of that particular person changes, and accordingly he takes different bodies, the transmigration. And point number 4 is that those who are all situated in this knowledge, that is, whose minds are underdeveloped, cannot see and understand what is exactly taking place. And those who are in the knowledge and those who can understand, they understand that Krishna enters into each planet, and he is the energy in orbit, and he is the supply of juice to life, and he is the fire in the digestive system. And all these understanding and the different changes also one is able to understand because of the person is situated in the knowledge. And how this knowledge can be acquired it is through the Vedas, because the Vedas give the understanding of the knowledge. Whereas Krishna is seated as remembrance and as knowledge and forgetfulness. And only through Veda one can understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and through devotional service one can permanently be situated in that knowledge. Hare Krishna. This is what I made a note of it. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, nice philosophical points. What about room number 5? Matari Mataji, Sharmila Mataji, Shrita Mataji, Sumita Mataji, Supriti Mataji. All Mataji is in the book.
Mataji will give a presentation, Mataji.
Yeah. Shrita Mataji is going to present.
I'll present and Supriya Mataji will speak.
Yeah, you can share the screen.
Is it visible, Mataji?
Yes, very nice.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Here in the chapter 15.7, it's clearly mentioned that living entities in this conditioned world are actually Krishna's fragmental part. That is, they are the part and parcel of Lord Krishna himself. Whatever qualities Krishna has, maybe Sachidananda Rupam, Achyuta, whatever qualities Krishna has, we also have a part of it. But thing is that we have a different in quality and we have a quality similar, but we have quantity different. It's just like an example of gold particles in a gold mine. The gold particles, each and every bit of the particle in the gold mine has the same quality as that of the gold in the gold mine, but the quantity is different. So in this way, we lose the chance of being Sachidananda Rupam, similar as Krishna's. But we also have one thing what God has given us, the free will, that minute independence to stay with him or under the role of Maya. But we chose unexpectedly to be conditioned under the role of Maya, and we get conditioned. And once we get conditioned, once we get conditioned, we lost our original nature as that of the Lord, and we are bound by the shackles. made of iron, that is, which consists of 3 modes. That is, one is Rajoguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and Satvaguna. And we have made our mind as the driver. So if our mind is in Satvaguna, then we behave in the Sattvic manner. But when we have our mind in a Rajoguna, in a passion, we are working hard and hard. We are struggling even more hard. And people for in Tamoguna, they are just opposite to what they are in Satvaguna. So they are just bound by shackles, and they have, they are looking forward for the help from the Lord. But Lord is so merciful that he knows all about the acts of living entities. And it is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 15.21 that the Lord is so merciful that he sits in the heart of every living entity and he gives what living entity is desiring. So he's so merciful. He gives the smriti, he gives, he forgets a past life. He lets him enjoy his present life. And he gives a free will or to choose so that he can come back to him, performing devotional service. How? By giving Vedas. He said that I am the Veda. So knowing Veda, you can easily come back to me. Yes, Mataji. And that's how whatever living entity has been requesting for, God mercifully is giving all the thing what living entity, but what a living entity chooses is all that matter. So he has to use his independence. Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Nice. In a very less time, Shraddha Mataji made a nice presentation. That's good. Okay. Yeah, anything more to add, Shraddha Mataji? I think we are done.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji only missed one point, that the Lord is Vyasadev. He gave us a Vedanta Sutras. So what is the goal of Vedas? Why institutional position as a servant of the Lord? And once we realize that we are the servant of the Lord, then we don't lord over material nature. We don't think of our sense gratification. And once we get the knowledge, what is our position and what are we supposed to do and why we have got this human birth and why this human birth is so essential, we realize our mistakes and we engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. So the goal of Veda is that at the end of our life, at the end of the time when we realize this knowledge, we should engage in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. And the Supreme Lord is waiting with his open hands to us. And we should thanks Prabhupada for translating all the Vedas in such a simplified manner that we can understand it. And thanks for the classes and you, Mataji, that we can understand our position. And now I think I was also a materialistic person and working like donkey hours, but now I realize, so I'm also spending less time on work and more time on devotional service. So we should know why we are here and what should we do and what is the goal of Vedas, that is to perform devotional service and try to achieve an unalloyed devotional service platform and return back to Godhead and spread the same message to everyone. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nice. Yes. Room number 4, Chitra Mataji, Keshav Prabhu, Kripa Mataji, Prafula Mataji, Samir Prabhu, and Sudha Mataji. So who's speaking from room number 4?
Actually, Mataji, we didn't decide who will speak, but one of them will take over for now 7. Sloka 15, I will speak. Chitra Mataji, can you take the 7? Or Shami Prabhu, you wrote not jotted down that point, Sloka 7. Sloka 15, I have
Yes,
noted.
Prabhuji. Yes,
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes, Samir
Hare Krishna,
Prabhu.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Just going to tell something like what 15.7. Lord Krishna states clearly here in this verse that he is the eternal and the part and the fragmental parts are in within us. So we as a human being, or we as the living entities, we are enjoying the sense gratification with using our mind, the 5 senses. Actually, we should try to utilize the eyes, like Prabhupada says, eyes should be utilized for taking the darshan of Lord Krishna instead of going for movies or something. And similarly, he says also says that using the ears, the senses, instead of going listening to the music and different music, we can go for kirtan. Taste can be taken like to have prasadam, and instead of having the variegated food items that are available. Thus, the nose is for taking the fragrance of Lord Krishna's flower and the incense stick of Sri Narsingadev, and that is what it is. And also, like touch, when we are using our hands and a finger, it should go to the Vaishnava's charan, or it should go to like Krishna's feet and the dressing, and like when you touch. So that is what our mind should be in such a way. So Lord Krishna says, I am a part and partial, but how we are using our mind, that's very, very important. That is what we have understood from 15.7. And I guess Keshav Prabhu is going to continue with his 15.5. 15. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is
Hare Krishna,
15.15.
Yes,
This living entity forgets everything of his past life while leaving his body. Lord Krishna remembers that and gives him remembrance power and the required knowledge to start afresh. So he is not only all-pervading, but also localized in everyone's heart, so that he gives us the remembrance power to start fresh. Then the Supreme Lord is so full of full that for the deliverance of the conditioned soul, he is the supplier and digester of foodstuff, the witness of his activities and giver of knowledge in the form of the Vedas. The Vedas, purpose of the Vedas is to understand the Vedas, the goal of the Vedas, and Vedas, it gives the direction to start people so that they can properly mold their life and come back to Godhead, back to home. The Vedas give the right direction to people so that they can properly mold their life and come back to Godhead, back to home. If somebody is very serious understanding the Vedic knowledge, then Krishna gives the required intelligence to understand the Vedas. Why he gives? He presents the Vedic knowledge to a living entity individually, because each individual needs to understand Krishna. Then the Vedas gives us direction by which to understand Krishna and the process of realizing him. The ultimate goal is to achieve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Vedas is the source which we can attain that perfection in 3 stages. By understanding Vedic literature, one can understand the relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then by performing different process, one can approach him, and at the end, one can attain the supreme goal. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, nice points. Yes. So both the slokas are very important. 15.7 and 15. Okay, what about room number 2? 3? There's only 2. How many were there in room number 3?
Hare Krishna Mataji, we were 7, Mataji.
Rajat Prabhu.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
Mataji.
Who's speaking?
I'll be speaking, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
So talking about 15.7, Mataji. So here basically the Lord is trying to tell the differentiation between him and the living entity. So the living entity are the fragmental parts and parcel of the Lord, and they are all eternal fragment. That means they are not going to go and join up with the Lord. They will remain always like they are. While the Lord can manifest and expand into many other expansion, but the living entity remains single and cannot have any expansions. And the Lord manifests himself into other forms, and he comes at different avatars of his. While the living entity always remains as a servitor and will always remain as single identity only. But the living entity maintains his identity all throughout. Here also that the Lord remembers everything, while the living entity does not remember, and that is why he reaches a stage of a conditioned life, and he's misutilizing his independence which has been given to him. And that is why he suffers in this world, and so much suffering is taking place because he doesn't know that what is his real goal of life, and that he is the servitor of the Lord. And this is purely because he is living in a false sense of ego. And this is happening because the living entity is shackled in the material body, which has got the mind and the senses. But once he is liberated and he goes back, there is no difference between the Lord and him in terms of the quality of the body. That means they are having the same body which the Lord has at that stage. So this is as far as 15.7 goes, Mataji. In the 15.5, the Lord basically is telling that despite the living entity being individual, he is still residing along with the living entity in his heart as the Paramatma, and is the guiding force. Though the life which the living entity, because of his independence, is living because of his karmas and his desires, the Lord is still the guiding force and is trying to make him remember what is his real duty. So here, basically, the Lord is wanting him, the living entity, to come back. But the living entity, out of ignorance, is still wanting to continue into this world. And by the Vedas, which has been given to us, which is also in a way how to achieve Lord, we get the direction into by which we can achieve the Lord. So there are three things which are primarily being covered in this purport. That is the purpose of the Vedas, what is the understanding of the Vedas, and the goal of the Vedas. So if we follow, read the Vedas and practice what is given in the Vedas, finally we'll be able to attain the Lord and go back to the Godhead. That's all, Mother.
Yes. Let's take from group number 2. Yes,
Mataji, actually, we'll present room number 2. I'll show the drawing Mataji, and Sonia Mataji will present. Shubhamai Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, you can say. Start.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Yes, Mataji, yes, all the points have been covered. So I'll just explain what is left a little bit. Yes, Mataji, like Lord Krishna, he is the center of the creation. Everything manifests from him. Not, can you hear me, Mataji? Because my internet is quite. Yes, so he is the center of creation, and everything manifests from him. Be it the living entities as a temple, like one is his personal form and impersonal form. That is the living entities who fall into the three modes of material nature. The one who acts in a mode of goodness, their activities are good, and the one who acts in a mode of passion, their activities are troublesome, and the one who acts in ignorance, they fall out into the lower species of life. And here we have the presentation of fire. Yes, like the fire is non-different than a spark, but in the composition, the fire and the spark may be of similar composition, but the quantity, what fire can do, the spark can do it. Just a small part can be done. Like if a spark goes out, it cannot lead a very big fire. Yes, but the fire is quite huge. And then the composition of the sea drop of water is same to the sea. The taste will be the similar and the composition will be similar, but the quantity will be lesser. So this is how we are, like the living entities. We have lesser, though we are same. Like Krishna says here that he says here that we are his angsha. He gives the word mama vamsa. He says that that living entities are fragmental parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord, but they have their own significance, and that is they forget the very existence of Krishna. So he offers in the other part, I'm not telling Mataji because it's already been explained. So he explains that through Veda, that as he is a giver of Veda, He is a compiler Veda. Through the knowledge of Veda, the individual gets the right direction of how to live the life and to go back to the Godhead. So here we have that his manifestation, as we have drawn so beautifully. So I want to make, like, whenever there is some crisis, like it's said that whenever there is a disturbance in religion or the devotees are in trouble, as Krishna is Achyuta, he comes in different forms. He manifested as Lord Rama, he came as Narsimha Dev, so he can manifest in many forms to save his devotees, as he has a love for the devotees, and he is called as Achyuta. Yes, Mataji and Sabbu, we have the points. Can I see the drawing? Yes. Yes, Mataji. Mansi Mataji, you can explain a little more.
Yeah, the first one is actually the drop and the ocean, right? Quality.
Yes.
Then you have
Yes.
fire and the spark and gold and
Yes.
gold mine. What is this fourth one?
This is Lord Rama, Mataji.
Lord Rama and Narsimha Dev. And we
Lord
have
Narsimha.
Krishna seated in everyone's heart.
Oh, everyone's heart. Okay, the living
Yes.
entity, right?
Living entity.
Yes.
Living
And this
entity
is
in the heart.
Satyaguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna, Mataji. And this is a digestive
Tamoguna.
fire.
Oh, digestive fire.
Digestive fire. That's
That's
yes.
nice.
So
Okay.
the 4 kinds of food, which is chewed, which is sucked, which is so those how he helps us in
She made this
digestion.
drawing
So
in 5
Krishna is
minutes.
there. Yes, yes, Mataji.
That's nice. So creative. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Great.
Okay.
That's
Hare,
nice.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you
Hare
so much.
Krishna.
Everyone.
What about room number 1? Gayatri Mataji, Lakshmi Mataji. You have all tough competitors, huh? Shraddha
Hare
Mataji with power presentations, Manasi Mataji with drawing. That's nice.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Dinesh Prabhu.
Room number 1. We are 6 devotees in this group. We had a very good discussion, and we have picked up 9 points out of the verse 7 and 15. 5 points, 5 philosophical points for preaching purposes from verse number 7, and 4 from verse number 15. I don't know whether it is visible there on the screen.
Yes.
So
You start explaining.
first point, 15.7, Mataji. First point is that we are part and parcel of Lord, and fragmented part and parcel of Lord. And we are basically expansion of Lord. First is Vishnu Tattva in the form of Lord Rama and Narsimha Dev. And we are separated living entities. So we are, second point is regarding qualitative and quantitative similarity between us and the Supreme Lord. So I'll not explain much, we know all these points. Then Lord has, third point is that Lord has given us minute independence. Now, how we use this independence is our discretion, or based on our mode of material nature. If it is used for devotional service of Lord, then we get liberation. But if it is misused, then we get chained and fastened again to the conditioned life, and then enter into the cycle of birth and death. So by being fastened and being conditioned, we keep on struggling very hard. So next point is, point number 9 is given here. Next point is karsati, that is, we are struggling very hard because we are bound by the rope of false ego, and we are swinging between the mode of passion and mode of ignorance. So that is third point. Now, fourth point is the role of mind and senses. Mind is just like a monkey, and it is uncontrollable. So, but if it is used for good purposes, in a mood of goodness, then actions are good and they are liberating. A person may get liberated to higher planets or demigods, but ultimately has to come back to the life as soon as the account of good credit is finished. And then if the mind and senses are used in mode of passion, then it gives a lot of trouble and strong, intense desires, possessions, and again, person takes birth on this earth, returns to earth. But in mode of ignorance, which is the lowest, the form of life which comes next is the lowest form of life, and we go to lower planets only. Then point number, these were the points from verse number 7. The 4 preaching points from verse number 15 are: first, presence of super soul. The Lord is present in all living entities as super soul. He is an overseer. He is neutral. He permits the desires of souls to be fulfilled, and he is just witness, acts as a witness only. But the living entity forgets about super soul, focuses on mind, senses, and soul only. The next point which we discussed, Mataji, number 6, is that God is kind to give us. He resides in our heart as super soul and gives us remembrance, knowledge, and also forgetfulness. The knowledge part is something which we do not use wisely because the influence of mind and senses, and also remembrance. But we forget many things. We forget our original relationship with Supreme Personality of God. Then, Lord, another point which the Lord has given out of His mercy, that causeless mercy, and that is through Vyasadeva, He has given us Srimad Bhagavatam and Vedanta Sutra. Now, first I'll take a Veda. The purpose of Vedas. Purpose of Vedas primarily deal with Karma Kand, Jnana Kand, and Upasana Kand or Bhakti Kand. But the ultimate goal of all the 3 Kand sections is to know Krishna and surrender to Him and render loving devotional service to Krishna. So that is and Vedanta Sutra also, the essence of Vedas has been given by Lord Krishna Himself through Vyasadeva. And last point which we discussed is Lord is very merciful because He is present not only as super soul, but He is also giving the life force to us, and the life force to us is in the form of fire, which is also called as in Ayurveda Jatar Agni. It is the fire of stomach, hunger, and digestion. And when mixed with air, it makes us gives us the essential nutrients to sustain ourselves. So these were the points which we discussed, Mataji. The group was very proactive, and 9 points I have sorted out after the discussion. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, please. Yes. So these 2 slokas, okay, we finished all the breakout rooms, right? Yes. So only thing is, nobody took the slokas. Actually, when it was referred 15.7 and 15.5, I expected somebody to say the sloka, because both the slokas are very important. Mame Vamsha Jivaloki Jiva Sanatana Manashastrani Prayani Pratisnami Karshati. And also Sarvasya Chaham Priti Sannivishtam. So if such, because you have to give the philosophical points relevant for preaching. So when you preach, actually you can take the verse. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, you can quote and say Sarvasya Chaham Priti Sannivishtam, that He is seated in everyone's heart is Paramatma. Or Mameva Amsha Jivaloke Jiva Putakana. Then you can give the example. And I appreciate Manasi Mataji's attempt. Like, it's very easy to remember the ocean and the ocean drop and the fire and the spark. She has made it in her drawing, so we'll never forget. So the quantitative and qualitative, and nobody spoke about Achinte Beda Beda Tattva. You could have included that also in this. That's also a preaching application. We preach by saying that, okay, people accept Advaita philosophy. So we also accept that in one way, that we are one with God in quality. But why the philosophy is that we are not one, we are two. Yes, we are two in quantity, we are two. So both the philosophy, Vaida and Advaita together, when it comes to Achita Veda Veda Tattva, we are not completely agreeing that we are one with the Lord. Yes, we are partially, because we are part and parcel. Right? Part and parcel of my body is my hand. So the hand is also made up of the same composition as my body is. The gold and the gold mine, all that we can give example. You can quote slokas. If it is some significant slokas, at least you can quote the first line of the sloka while preaching. It's a preaching application. So you are quoting a reference from the Shastras also. Otherwise, all the teams were good, equally good, and they were nice discussion happening. That's why I split into multiple breakout rooms, so that got a complaint that devotees were not getting chance to speak. By then I closed the room. But I don't have much time also, no? So that's why I broke into small rooms, so that you have like 4 or 5 devotees, you can have complete discussion. And please don't make one devotee dominate. Everyone should get equal chance. Everyone should be given a chance to speak. Because unlike other levels, Bhakti Shastri is more interactive session. Okay, and just So the different points from different class breakout rooms will help us to remember this chapter. So if there is a, okay, so the 50th chapter about Purushottama Yoga, okay, we finished today. And by 31st December, please submit the open book assessment. Okay, it's time to give the second open book now, after 16th chapter. Okay, so we're going to finish module 3 soon. Okay. Then Saturday is Ekadashi. Please do come. There will be recitation. This time it's Gita Jayanti. So Saturday. So at 10 o'clock, all your teachers will be there to chant the 700 verses. You can also join. Okay, to chant. Okay, any more discussion? Any more questions? So this time I'm going to be strict. I'll close the form means I'll close the form. I'm not going to keep even one day. I know it's New Year and end and all that, so many things. But now itself, when the question is posted for open book, better finish it up. When we were doing Bhakti Shastri, we see that in 2-3 days we finish the assignments. Don't postpone it. Keep postponing, you'll forget it. Then after when the last date is announced, you rush to finish the open book. Don't do that. Now itself, when the open book is posted itself, 2-3 days, try to fill it up, try to send it. Don't keep it to the last for submitting. Okay. Yeah, but how long we are traveling? Like, so try to take some time. Yes, Samir Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is, I wanted to know just like how long still it will take for Bhakti Shastris, ma'am. Actually, Mataji, I'm trying to plan for South India trip, Mataji. So in the month of May, so during that session, would be like the Bhakti Shastri course will be going on because
Nectar of devotion, nectar of instruction and all will quickly get over. Only Bhagavad Gita will take more time. That's why I made like 2 classes a week so that we can finish fast. Yeah, we'll be done by 2-3 months because just NOD, NOI, and Ishopanishad is very quick. Not much sessions.
So even I'm planning
Yes.
to visit Mangalore also, so that's why.
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Yes, sure.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Dinesh Prabhu, Hare Krishna. You had a question? Can't wait. Actually, Shraddha Mataji written assignments is good actually because we have seen devotees copy pasting from Veda base. So that's why we made it like compulsorily written. So open book was compulsorily made written because most of the chances that they tend to copy paste it. Yes, Mantagri Manj. You can unmute Mataji, I can't hear you.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji. Even I have made the drawing, Mataji. I attempted.
Oh, can you show?
Yes, throughout I've like.
Passion, ignorance, and chanting goodness. Oh, that's nice. Yeah. And what is this? Oh, the gold and gold mine and the fire and the spark and ocean and the crop. Very nice. Yeah. So see, if you make drawing like this, you'll never forget, na? Good, good. That's nice attempt. So you'll never forget. So now, when they ask about the connection between chapter 14 and 15, 16, you'll never forget because you know now, okay, I've drawn that, I've drawn this, the 3 modes. Okay. So somehow something will get stuck. It said that visual aids, the visual, this thing is so good actually, no? Now that's why they have this PowerPoint presentation better than Blackboard. Blackboard, you tend to forget. PowerPoint, there's so many pictures that's coming. It has an impression in the mind. So children will be easily able to grasp it. Even for our case, otherwise mind get bored. But when there is some presentation, And when you start drawing, it's so creative actually. I remember we had a drawing thing for Prabhupada's Leelamrita. So everyone were doing very nicely actually when Prabhupada's Leelamrita. Just imagine drawing Prabhupada's Leelamrita. It was not easy, but it was good. Like some creative ideas will come. It's nice actually. You'll never forget. Yes, Dinesh Prabhu, I could not hear you.
Mataji, we are also having 2 Bhakti Praksh classes now because you are having 2 classes of Bhakti Shastri. So in order to catch up with what you are going teaching, so we have done this.
Okay, so Bhakti Vriksha is going on, 2 classes.
Yes, Mataji. Friday and Sunday.
That's good. You should read, self-reading is also good. Sattva, Swadhyay also should be done. Otherwise, it won't be easy to catch up. So main goal of Bhakti Shastri is to make everyone read Prabhupada. That is the main goal actually. So when you go, because now we don't have much time to go through the purport, so I take the important points in the purport and discuss. But otherwise, you are supposed to read, no? And go through the analogies and everything Prabhupada mentioned. Okay. So I think we can close here. Any more questions? Okay. It's one shakal padara dasha pratasam vivek sapatitani neva vishnu Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.